And Irma's impact will be felt by those in the path beyond property destruction and infrastructure issues. Many of those living in mandatory evacuation areas, nervous about being able to return in time for work, raises a serious legal question of whether or not you can be fired, whether a business has the right to fire you for missing work due to a natural disaster. Joining me now is Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. I would guess that this is a multi-layered answer.
Well, it is a multi-layered answer because you asked a very complex question in your typically very basic, direct way. So the answer depends upon what you do and where you are. We'll start with where you are. These are state laws that regulate, so it might be different in Florida and Texas than from Georgia. What you do then depends upon whether or not you have a contract, and if you have a written contract, it will set forth the circumstances under which you have to be in. If you are a first responder, it doesn't matter what the atmospheric conditions are, you have to get in. If you are not a first responder, the law does not expect or require the impossible of you. And if the streets are impossible to traverse, then you cannot be punished for the failure to go out into the streets. So you employ a lot of people. You also have a very big heart. Would you fire somebody because they didn't come to work in the midst of this kind of what we're watching in Florida?
I love how you put him on the spot.
We've known each other for so long.
I know.
Get away with this.
I know.
With you, I'm not so sure, but everyone else would be okay.
But it's almost. But does this happen? I mean, from a practical standpoint, does this actually happen?
Apparently, it does happen, because in preparation for discussing this morning, we did find some cases of other hurricanes where, believe it or not, these firings were upheld. That is, there was no contract. The employee was totally at will, meaning the employment is at the will of the employer. And as long as the firing is not for something against public policy, you can't fire them because of their beliefs or their race or their age, but the failure to come into work the firing for the failure to come into work has been upheld. However, if you can get a jury trial, the jurors are not going to go with the employer, they're going to go with the employee.
Well, that raises the next question. If someone feels like that they've been unjustly fired and aren't in a position to hire legal counsel or representation, where do they go?
Well, almost every county in the United States has a bar association. That's a group of lawyers who will do some of their work for free. And almost all major cities in the United States, wherever there's a courthouse, there's a bar association. Where there's a bar association, there are young lawyers, of which I was once one many, many years ago. And they will volunteer their time. But bringing a lawsuit against your former employer on your own is probably fruitless.
It's also a reputational disaster for an employer.
Well, especially, I was going to say, on Twitter nowadays, with social media, you can really embarrass people.
The threat to sue might be as effective as having a high-powered lawyer bring the lawsuit for you, because the reputational damage would impair assuming they're in the public sphere, their ability to sell their product.
I want to move on to a story that will get you fired up.
Okay.
And that's what we're here to do. Switching gears. The